Hello and thanks for joining us on the newspaper review on Nigerian Uprise TV. My name is Chiwendo Osisiago, and for the weekend we'll be analyzing different headlines for different newspapers. And on the Nation newspaper this Saturday morning, Tinubu writes Senate on ECOWAS plan against Niger. Why overthrow of Bazoum regime can stand by FG. Juktak breaks ties with Nigeria, France, USA, others. France says only legitimate government can sever links. ACF Northern Senators Forum warned against military action. You can find the story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Kiyamo Bankure nominated as ministers. Shetty dropped. Senate screens Oyetola, Bagudu, Lalong, others. You can find the story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper this Saturday. Forensic audit of CBN underway. Tinubu tells World Bank president. You can find the story on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Elevator accidents. Panel submits reports today. Lift installer for police questioning. This story is on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. Al Obaseki has been humiliating me by Edo Deputy Governor. He uses security officials to harass me. Refused to pick my calls 8 times. Court orders maintenance of status quo in alleged impeachment plots. You can find the story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this Saturday morning. And on the Punch newspaper this morning, bloated structure. Tinubu, new government to get 48 ministers, 560 commissioners. President makes history with ministerial nominees, 20 SAs. Economists, others, says bloated cabinet wasteful. You can find the story on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. Niger, FG shot bother. Northern Senator fought military action. You can find the story on page 10 of the Punch newspaper this Saturday. Jollof rice, pounded yam helping Falcons at World Cup. Striker Kanu. You can find the story on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. Lagos Hospital killer elevator faulty since 2020. NMA chairman. You can find the story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Anthrax. Cattle sellers, butchers, lament as chefs, families cut down on beef. You can find the story on page 20 and 21 of the Punch newspaper. I won't be single for life, Peju Johnson. You can also find the story on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. Tinubu plans to pro civil service payroll. You can find the story on page 9 of the Punch newspaper this Saturday morning. And on Daily Trust newspaper this morning, pressure mounts on ECOWAS against use of force in Niger. Northern Senators, cleric kick as president writes Senate for clearance. We will give diplomacy a chance. ECOWAS Security Committee. Coup plotters deny Abdul Salami Sultan entry discussed at airports. Cut diplomatic ties with Nigeria, Togo, France, USA. You can find the stories on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Nollywood movies that spotlight historic moments in Nigeria. This story can be found on the entertainment part of the Daily Trust newspaper. Ministers, like others, Tinubu unable to fulfill 35% for women too groups. You can find this story on page 27 of the Daily Trust newspaper. How FG states can leverage waterways amidst rising fuel costs. Nearly 30 states linked by rivers. We eye more investment in jetty holders, NIWA. Lagos leads the way. Unregulated boat mishap claims hundreds. You can find the story on page 5 and 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Bandits kill villager, adopt 7 in Kaduna. You can find the story on the Daily Trust newspaper this Saturday morning. DPO goes viral after paying dowry for lovers to get married in Kaduna. This story is also on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. How high power politics cost Mary Shetty ministerial nomination. You can find this story on page 14 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And that's all we have in today on Nigerian Uprise TV. My name is Chiwendo Osisiago. For more newspaper updates and information, you can follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube at the Nigerian Uprise TV. Thanks for watching and have a beautiful day.